Hello and welcome to Geekz Haven presenting First Sundays. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining the show. Um, Looks like it's just me today. Mr. Pinder may join us. He may join us next week. He is the founder of Geekz Haven, which is a gaming community online on Facebook, Geeks with a Z. And so, our show today, we're here to talk about film, anything film, streaming, gaming, digital entertainment. My man Jerome likes to talk about anime. I don't have any context for that except for like Dragon Ball Z. You guys know I'm kind of old school. But yeah, welcome to the show today. Might be a short one. No guests today. Just checking in once a month with our monthly First Sundays. Some announcements. We just got back from Walk with a Doc this morning at Lake Montebello in the community. We just got done hosting or working. We didn't host. Plant Live hosted a Filipino festival. It was tidy, small but tidy. It was pretty cool. There was a lot of food vendors and a lot of resources for the Filipino community. Um, the food was amazing, obviously. They had some artists performing. I believe I saw a martial arts exhibition with some sword fighting and some Filipino style martial arts. That was pretty cool. Um, yeah, so we just got back from there. I was doing my breadcoin thing. We're feeding people in the community, obviously. Um, Coming up, guys, we're gonna have another brunch pitch with Smaltimore Homes and BlackUSA.News coming up here in the next month or two. We'll keep you guys posted. Uh, July 15th, we're looking at the historic Pennsylvania Avenue Parade. You guys can look at that on Eventbrite. We are always looking for sponsorship and support. So every year, our guys, Officer Anderson, Donnie Glover, everybody does this out of pocket for the community, for the culture. We will continue to do so. And if you wish to bless us and help us, make it even more excellent for our community, because our community deserves the best, please look up Eventbrite for BeMoreNews.com. Look up Eventbrite Historic Pennsylvania Avenue Parade. And there is a level of corporate sponsorship for $5,000 or platinum sponsorship for $10,000. If you are going to purchase a ticket at that price and donate, please reach out to myself at bemorechap@gmail.com. I'll get you plugged in with Donnie Glover, who is the publisher, founder, and major, exclusive media sponsor for the program for the Historic Pennsylvania Avenue Parade. It has been so for several years. So we'll get you guys connected, and we'll get some kind of package for you guys for your sponsorship beyond just doing the right thing and supporting our culture and community. That said, I just have a few notes since I don't really have anyone to talk to. Kind of boring, just me talking about my opinion about stuff. But been really thirsty for some good films, some good movies, streaming stuff. I know we didn't really talk a lot about it. Apple Plus has some great content. I enjoyed watching Severance a while back, waiting for part two. I personally am a fan of the Boys brand coming on Amazon Prime. That's pretty fun for me. It's a little violent and vulgar, but it's got a truth to it that I think is important, that comes across very clearly. Movies. I want to talk about movies this month because I did catch a couple good, fun movies. Um, Dungeons and Dragons. It was fun. It was better than I expected. It was longer, but not too long. It wasn't Lord of the Rings long, but it was like 2 hour, 15 minutes, I think. Great fantasy, action, comedy, great chemistry with the actors, Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, the kid, I can't think of his name right now, the kid from the Get Down. I love that guy. He did Detective Pokemon. He's a great actor. He does a great little accent. Yeah, it's a fun movie. You guys, it's little character development. You get a good backstory on all the characters without dragging it out. It's just really, really great storytelling, great chemistry with the actors, great genre. You're in the fantasy world, dragons and monsters and elves and stuff. So if that's your thing, Dungeons and Dragons is a winner in the franchise. I'm a fan of the old one with Jeremy. Was it Jeremy Irons? I think it was Jeremy Irons. It's old school. So 2000 Dungeons and Dragons was it's eclectic, but it's a vibe. New one's fun. Other couple ones that we viewed this week. Super Mario. I wanted to like it. I won't say I hate it. I got to watch First time I went in to watch it, fell asleep. I'm older. I was tired, so I'm not going to say it was boring. But I gave it another chance. Went back and tried to watch it again, and I enjoyed it. A lot of nostalgia for people my age in your 40s, or maybe a little bit younger. Had those nostalgic moments, Mario moments with different stuff. Kind of went into it expecting a giant hour and a half commercial for Nintendo, and it was, but it wasn't completely transactional. So it was fun enough at the end, and they got me at the end, kind of with the ending, and the um, second half of the movie kind of comes through where the first one's kind of a drag. So for me, I enjoyed it. I think it's great for the kids. It's very kid friendly. It's the animation and the graphics are fantastic, like superb job there. Yeah, they created an immersive experience. So Super Mario Brothers. If you're a Mario fan, check that out. Hey Monica, I got to get my banners running. Yeah, guys. So if you guys want to hop on, actually, I'm only going in for a couple more minutes if nobody hops on, but we'll post the chat link in the comments. So if anybody wants to hop on and talk about their favorite movie they saw or something they're looking for, there you go. Hop on. Here, I'll post it up here as well. If someone's watching, wants to check in. But yeah, we're just talking about movies. I got to look up what I've been watching because not to say I don't remember. I got a bad memory. It doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Let me say that. Um, yeah, there's some movies coming out. There's some good stuff coming out. I was not interested in Scream. Not a slasher guy. I'm like an old school slasher guy. I respect them, but not my genre necessarily. Renfield was classic, amazing. Nick Cage. We love Nick Cage. At this house, we're Nick Cage house. He did great. It was a really fun movie. I just thoroughly enjoyed all of it. It's violent. It's sarcastic. It's good. It's fun. It's fun. It's funny. We talked about it last week or last month, maybe not because we weren't out yet. So I guess the good thing about doing this show once a month, there's a lot of movies to talk about each month instead of doing it weekly. So, watched Ant-Man. I love the first Ant-Man. I love Paul Rudd. I love my guy. What is his name? I got to look his name up too. I feel ashamed I don't have these names memorized. I should know them, and I knew that Michael Pena. Michael Pena is hilarious. Like he is such a good actor, bro. Like, and he's got comedy chops. Like, so Michael Pena is I love him. But the very CGI kind of all the late Marvel stuff. It just gets real CGI heavy and light on the story, light on the writing, light on the character development. Right? They kind of I don't know. Marvel Studios bought into Lucas technology and they overuse it. They rely on it too heavily. I've not caught up with the Mando. I know new Mando came out. Some other movies, Avatar, same thing. Like I wanted to like Avatar. I liked the first one. I liked the the narrative of protecting and valuing indigenous people and traditions and honoring old ways and not completely mowing over it with for the sake of progress, mowing over culture and tradition and time honored knowledge. But Avatar, the new one, just kind of seemed like our usual sequel. Let's make as much money off this name as we can. A lot of CGI. I might go back and visit it again because I don't think I haven't finished it, which is a bad sign for me. Like if I don't finish it, like I usually try to finish stuff. So, yeah, I'm trying to think what else was out. I know there's the Michael Jordan movie was out. I did not watch that yet. I don't rush and watch sports movies unless somebody tells me to that I trust. Last one being probably Goon, which was fantastic. Goon is a favorite. It's a hockey movie, underdog story, hilarious, like just a real good movie, down to earth. Yeah, what do you guys think? Guys, watching anything? What's good? What's going on? No comments. All right, well, that's okay. We're still gonna talk a little bit. Let me see. Let me visit what else we've been watching. I gotta go to my streaming apps here. On maybe I'll show that. Show you guys what I've been watching. Um, but let's see. What have we been watching? The Night Agent on Netflix was interesting. Like we're big Jack Reacher fans on Prime. Reacher was just an uncompromising, amazing character. Storytelling's good. Um, Night Agent reminded me of like a polite version of that character, which was good. Not compromising. But it was fun to watch. I look forward to more of that as they mature in their characters, as they evolve the characters. But we really enjoyed the first season or whatever's out on that so far. I think we finished the first season. Um, Chronicles of Riddick right now. I think Chronicles of Riddick is on Netflix. That's a favorite at the house. Just that one. The other ones are okay. Chronicles is great. Got Carl Urban. First time I saw Carl Urban. Chronicles of Riddick. Let's see. Netflix is rocking old school stuff. They've got Kindergarten Cop from back in the day. That's a good one. Starship Troopers. If you guys have not watched Black Mirror, is a favorite brand of mine, which they haven't really followed up on yet. We're also waiting on season 4 of The Boys to come out. And it looks like... hold on. We're looking here. What's this? What year is that? Yeah. So if you guys have any comments, you guys go back and watch the show. Any comments, any shows we need to watch, movies we need to watch, drop a comment. Been on my Minecraft grind, talking gaming. I don't really have a lot of time for gaming, so my piece of place is grinding some Minecraft, or if I'm feeling especially bouty, I'll play some League of Legends. I might even go back and revisit Overwatch now that it's Overwatch 2. Not a big fan of 2, but hey, Jerome is here. Cool. So we held out. We held out long enough to get my man's on. So without further ado, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, chat. Sorry about that, man.
No, all good, bro. I was just going over some stuff I have been watching this month. I was sharing real quick just to catch you up. What were we talking about? Let me see. Let me go back for a second. So Super Mario Brothers was one, Dungeons and Dragons was another, and Renfield were the 3 that I kind of had some comments on that I ended up enjoying watching.
Okay.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers I was expecting like a 2-hour commercial, which kind of got, but first time I started watching it, I kind of fell asleep, and the second time going in, actually, yeah, I think I was just tired.
Okay, yeah.
I'm over 40. We're out working in the community all the time, and we get our
True.
breaks when we can. So I tried to watch it on some downtime, but wasn't really prepared. So I think I'll give that credit, because I did go back and watch it again, knowing that. And second time around, it was very nostalgic.
Yeah.
Had some great Mario moments. Had some great like Luigi moments. I would say Luigi and Toad are probably my favorite characters. Toad is probably the best. Like, he's such a little tough guy. Like, they really developed a great character. And in the end product, that was good. Like, the first half for me was a drag, and I kind of fell asleep. But making it to the second half redeemed itself. It was actually fun to watch.
Okay.
The CGI was like really immersive and crispy. Like, I felt like I was in Mario Land. I didn't really think about not being in Mario Land while I watched it. So
yeah,
I did appreciate that about it. Did you get to see it?
Yeah, I enjoyed everything about it, man. Like, from beginning to end, I was just felt like a little kid. Like,
it's definitely Mario, man. He just definitely took you back to whatever. And the great part of Mario is like every generation has their own.
Yeah.
And so the film kind of visited everybody from from Donkey Kong, right, and the barrels, like all the way up to like Mario Sunshine and some of the newer stuff, Mario Kart, Double Dash, and
they gave it that side scrolling like you was playing the game itself. Like, I enjoyed it. Like,
man.
I like the voice acting in it and everything. Like,
yeah, Charlie Day with Luigi was Luigi was the best, bro. He was so funny. He was just so Luigi. Got the little haunted mansion stuff, and
Luigi and Toad. Like I said,
Yeah, Toad was a gangster, bro.
My favorite too.
Yeah, me too. All right, so we're on the same page. Yeah, those guys really carried the movie. I think those characters.
And I enjoyed Bowser too because I like Jet Black. So
I was going to say that. Yeah, he had the of course Bowser's the villain, but they gave you such a good relatable backstory to him, and like you felt sad for him, right? And like yeah, I dig it. And yeah, Jack Black always gets those characters. He captures like the sadness to the yeah. So like yeah, I did. That's a good description.
it was a good. I enjoyed everything about the movie from beginning to end, and it, even though I was in the theater, it was like some kids next to me, and they kept saying, "Daddy, Daddy, I just played that the other day."
Yeah.
Like it's from the video game. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
it was very enjoyable. I think I enjoyed it more than my own kids.
Probably, yeah. So, did you get it? Are you like a fantasy movie type guy, like Lord of the Rings, like Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, I have not had a chance to see Dungeons and Dragons yet, so
you will be.
That's on my list.
Put it on the list, man. I enjoyed it, man. I think I've watched it twice actually.
Okay.
And it's just it's fun. The characters are it visits everybody. Like so, all the characters in the movie, you get a little backstory to everybody, but not too much where it's boring or drags on.
Yeah.
Action's good. I mean, you're fighting like different like secret societies of wizards and dragons and all this stuff. So like little flashbacks and fight battle scenes and a lot of fun, a lot of action. Magic is it's magic. It's fun. The characters they have good chemistry. Michelle Rodriguez kind of is your like straight man Ice Cube guy, and Chris Pine being like the Chris Tucker kind of like comedian guy and bard type character. And it captures and references a lot of old Dungeons and Dragon classic campaigns like Baldur's Gate and stuff. So there's same like with Mario Brothers. It's a good familiarity if you're with the genre. There we go. Monica's going to check some of these out. So yeah, for the kids, Mario Brothers. If you're a fantasy person, again, Dungeons and Dragons is fun. What's another one I watched? That's what I was talking about. The other one I was talking about was Renfield. So Monica, watch Renfield. Start with Renfield because it's dope. It's sick. It's violent. It's fun. I'm a Nick Cage fan, so I don't know if you had a chance to watch that. If you could get to watch those type of movies because you got kids in the house and what age they are. But
that's the Dracula movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have not seen that yet. Okay.
So my wife is like a vampire, zombie, like werewolf type. She loves those movies. I like a good vampire movie. The werewolves are always pretty boring and kind of standardized, cookie cutter. And zombies, like you really got to do something unique. So for me, like the zombie genre, like Zombieland.
Yeah.
Zombieland was amazing. Holy crap.
One of my favorites is, I think it's on Netflix now, Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead? Okay. All right. Yeah. Is that with, who's in that?
What is his name?
I'm going to look it up now while we're talking.
But yeah, that's one of my favorites. I said I was going to watch it later on today once I saw it on there.
All right. I'm going to check it out. Do you see the Army of the Dead?
Yeah, I seen that.
That's a good one. That one's pretty fun. But like anything Dave Bautista, I'm sold. If I see his big bald head on a flyer, I'm going to watch the movie, man. He's great. But no, Renfield was a lot of fun, man.
Okay.
I don't know. I had fun watching with my wife. I'm like I said, like I don't run and watch the vampire movies very much. But it was a good one. It was a good one. I'm always looking for something a little different, but not too different. Like I don't want to see like David Finch do a vampire movie, but like like if you got something different or a different twist, like coming at it from Renfield's perspective was fun. He's going to therapy for being in a toxic relationship with Dracula, which is great. It's like, okay, this is hilarious. Okay. And it's bloody enough, and then Nick Cage, like no matter what you're watching, he's going to be entertaining. So he's does a great job. And in fact, when they do some flashback scenes where they do like the black and whites, like the old Hammer films, like he actually looks like Bela Lugosi. It's just they use an old footage style filter, I think, and it looks good, man. I'm like, man, this is really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I checked that.
Oh, and you know who really carries it actually? So Nick Cage, of course. Aquafina is a police officer in that, and like, if you don't know who Aquafina is, she's an adorable Asian actress with like old smoker lady voice, and it's like it doesn't fit her, but it does. She is so awesome to watch, man. She's another one. Like if she's in it, I gotta watch and see what she's doing because
Yeah, definitely.
she's like just fun to watch, man. And like I don't mean any disrespect by saying she's adorable, but she is. She's like this little character with his big personality, but it's like it's slated. It's like it's a huge personality, but she keeps it very stoic. But like
Okay.
behind the stoicness, you can feel how big how big she is. She's fun to watch. Man, we should get Monica. You should get on here and tell us what you're watching. What's good? What we need to watch.
Did you get a
Um,
chance to see Guardians of the Galaxy yet?
no, no.
Okay. I went to
Actually,
go
let me
see
see.
it yesterday. I enjoyed it. It was really good. It
All
was
right, I don't know. That sounded a little hesitant there. What's
no, it was better than the second one for sure. You know, I mean, it was definitely entertaining for me. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
okay?
the plot behind it. I enjoyed the action. It's a good movie. It's a
Guardians of the
good movie.
Galaxy. So, yeah, so
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet. Yeah, that always happens. Like, I always use Men in Black as an example, right? Like the first Men in Black was not intended to be a comedy.
Hmm.
Um, so like, but Tommy Lee and Will Smith had such great chemistry on set that it comes off funny,
Yeah.
but it was not written like a comedy, right? But like it's that their chops, they create that energy in the movie, and it's a great. Men in Black is a classic, right? It's fun,
Hmm.
it's sci-fi, it's like really fun to watch. And then the second one, they tried to emulate the comedy or write into the comedy, like
Yeah.
forcing it.
And
And
it
so it
felt flat.
wasn't as
Yeah.
funny. It was good. I mean, it's Men in Black, but it wasn't nearly as good as the first one. And
First
so when they went back to do the third one, and I feel it was probably the same with Guardians of the Galaxy, they abandoned that. They understood that they were too pushy with the comedy, and they just went back to making the movie and letting the actors do what they do.
one. Yeah.
And it went back to that like that genuine fun vibe, like when
Yeah.
like Men in Black 3. One of my favorite stories is listening to Josh Brolin talk about um, when he's playing a young Tommy Lee Jones is not a voiceover. That's Josh Brolin doing his
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones impersonation, like trolling or roasting Tommy Lee. Like he does the voice and everything, and it's like a vibe, and like that comes through. That comes through the screen. You can feel that
Hmm.
energy, that like him having fun with it. So
And that's how this was. It was a little bit more in a serious tone, but the comedy was there, but it didn't feel forced. You know.
right. I mean, you got again Dave Bautista is fun to watch.
Yeah.
Man. Drax is my favorite Guardian of the
Yep.
Galaxy.
Like you can kind of tell they had a little fun on set. So they had fun making the movie for sure.
Oh, Monica says the last one she watched was Sandlot. That
Oh
is so
wow.
epic. That is an epic classic for our
Yes.
generation. Oh my gosh, man. Heck yeah. I think it's funny
Surprised they
too
haven't
when
remade that movie.
did they?
See, I'm surprised they haven't remade that
Oh, they
movie.
will. Somebody will, I'm sure. Yeah, because I'm okay with that. I'd be okay if they redid a Goonies too, because like the kids need a version of what we felt,
Yeah.
right? And the journey we went on, like in the movie universe. Like I think kids deserve that experience, but what a relatable experience. Like I love watching old movies, but I love watching them, but there's also a disconnect where when they
Mhm.
redo them and they put people I'm familiar with or bring a different culture, a more contemporary culture to it, like I'm not always a big fan of it. You have to be careful how to do it because you're not if you don't actually capture that magic and capture the movie magic of it, and you're just redoing it to make money, like people can tell.
Yep. Yep.
But when you really take time and do a good homage as a remake, and you do really thoughtful casting, I think casting is the most difficult or most sincere part.
Mhm.
Then I'm down for it, man. Even when people complain, certain people um, may complain or have beef with like changing the gender or the race of a movie, right? So like you do a black cast for a tradition for an originally white movie, or you do female leads in roles where there was a male before.
Yeah.
It depends. Like Ghostbusters, I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did because it was an all woman cast, and I thought they're just going to try and I didn't know what they're going to do with it. I
Yeah.
know what I expected, but I was like, are they going to be? I just didn't know. And when I watched it, I was like, they didn't try to redo or be pushy about the old story or narrative.
Yeah. They gave it its own
It was
twist.
yeah, it wasn't like a super pushy like feminist agenda. It was women Ghostbusters, and it was funny, and they did their thing, and it was great. And and I thoroughly enjoyed it because I didn't know how I was going to feel about it going in, so I didn't have any expectations. When I watched it, people were hating on it. I'm like, it was a lot of fun. Like, it
Yeah,
was
to me, yeah, I enjoyed that movie, and I like Leslie. She's like one of my favorite people from
my
SNL.
gosh, yeah,
So it's like,
yeah, dude, she is so good at awkward, right?
yes,
Like Will Ferrell, like he's so good at awkward. Michael J. Fox was really good at awkward.
hmm
Like it for
hmm
him, that was his. He was smooth when it was awkward. It was like it was great, Um, yeah. So
And see, a lot of
Sandlot,
things I don't mind change if you kind of give it its own story.
right,
Like when they
right.
try to redo it and try to keep like the original story but change the characters, like it doesn't translate well.
Yeah, yep, I agree. Like, what was I watching the other day? Because I watch way too many movies. But I was watching this movie. Oh, I'm watching this series or something about a serial killer, and it's almost a scene for scene remake,
Mm,
but it's not bad.
okay.
The actors didn't like their style is different, but they're bringing something to the table. They're not taking away from it. So I'm enjoying watching it. And I was watching. I was like, this is really too familiar. Went back and I was like, almost scene for scene, some scenes line for line. I'm like, okay, like, but I'm okay with it, right? They didn't try to reinvent the whole thing or change it up. They just brought different talent, and so it's interesting being able to watch them express what we're, what it would look like. Um, yeah, Sandlot. I don't even know who I'd cast for Sandlot because I don't really know a lot of the kids these days, but
Yeah.
um, Sandlot, Goon. Like I said, I'm born and raised on Goonies, and I wouldn't mind seeing a Goonies because it was like funny too. Because like all my bros growing up, like it wasn't awkward for me, but I look back wondering like where was the black kid? Because like all my bros, like we all love Goonies, right? And I'm like, why do you guys love Goonies so much? Like, who's the guy you're connecting with? But the kids had such good characters.
hmm
You can connect with the fat kid. You can connect with the smart kid. You can connect with the nerdy kid or the compassionate kid. Like there
And
was
see,
a
the Goonies worked for us because in our generation we was outside kids. We went outside. We went on adventures. We went exploring through the woods and
interesting.
down the creeks and stuff. Nowadays,
Yeah,
kids is in the house, in their phones and stuff.
like Roblox.
Yeah, they can remake the Goonies, but it probably has to be like Roblox. You know what I'm saying? Like it
That's
would,
what yeah, I do know what you're saying.
a lot of kids probably wouldn't get it nowadays because it's just like, oh, they're going outside, they're exploring a cave, like, ugh.
Right. What are they in a program, after school program? What is this? No, yeah, yeah. I think that's where that's where I think Jumanji closes a good gap with the generations, right? Like Jumanji's fun. They
Yeah,
reinvented it with different characters, and like the original Jumanji was like fantastic. Like we went on that journey, like wow.
yeah, with the
And
board
then
game.
the new ones with the Rock and Jack Black, like they're also amazing. And it's
Yeah, and
that,
there's
but
video
that's a
games now.
different genre than Goonies, right? It's the kids who are into gaming,
Yeah,
but then they get into their adventure in the gaming world. So like Ready Player One, same thing. Like you're
yeah.
already plugged into a virtual world, so I think they can make that connect. Hey Monica, let me ask you: do you know? We need to get on the show. Look, I posted the link. What How about Big Trouble Little China? What you know about that?
Oh man, that
So I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. I actually have my
takes
son.
me back.
He has traveled further than me, so my son has been to Chinatown.
Okay.
And on the back, he sent me a postcard. It says, "Hey Dad, I'm in like the real. I'm causing big trouble in Little China." Right? I'm like, what 19-year-old knows that movie? But well, mine do.
Yeah, not too many. Yeah, my oldest daughter knows about it.
Yeah, it's a house favorite, man. So like when I was a kid, when we come home or like on for our generation, um, we would Saturday mornings was cartoons,
hmm
and well, in the afternoon was the movies, right? It would have Kung Fu Theater, Nightmare Theater, and I forget the other one, but it was like a family friendly movie, a kung fu movie, and then a little horror movie like Nightmare on Elm Street every time. And it was
Yeah,
all edited for TV, and back then they didn't show everything on TV. Let me say
yeah.
that. Um, so there was a thing called censorship, which has kind of been obliterated by the internet. But when I was a kid, I didn't watch so much the cartoons because like I come home from school, do my homework while I'm watching instead of cartoons, I'm watching Big Trouble in Little China or Goonies. Like those were the two VHSs at the house that my dad bootlegged off the Blockbuster because he had the two VCRs connected.
You record the
And
movie.
like whatever you could capture off TV, pause recording during the commercials to block out the commercials. Like that was the style. You'd fit like 3 movies on one tape, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we would do that. But like Big Trouble in Little China and Goonies were like our main go tos. We had all the movies on BFF used to run.
They talked about remaking that a few years ago. Big Trouble in Little China.
They did, and so I follow that closely. Not Bruce. I'm sorry, Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. They're always talking about it,
Yeah.
but it's got to be right. They're not just going to do it to do it. That's the thing.
But the first they were saying, well, I guess he was probably teasing. The Rock was talking about playing in it.
That'd be amazing. But the beef with the Rock is that all the work the Rock's doing now, believe it or not, guys, he's not doing stuff unless they're filming or bringing some of the money to Hawaii, which is good for him. Like, good for him. Like, he's taking care of home. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
So if you're doing Big Trouble in Little China, if they're not going to be filming or bringing some of that project money to Hawaii, you might not see him in it. I'm not sure how he'd be the big guy, right? He'd be the like the Zeus looking guy, the big swole guy that blows up at the end. I can see him playing that character. Except
I think he wanted to be the main. He wanted to do Kurt Russell's part though. But I would see him better as the villain though, compared to
dude, especially after Black Adam. Like, I need more of that Rock. That guy is like, yes. Let me see. So what was I thinking? Yeah, I don't know how they cast it, but so for Big Trouble in Little China, it's always been my dream to be able to see it in the theater. And we, a couple years ago, this was before COVID, we got the family that owned the Senator. They heard my cry. They reached out to Fathom, and they did Big Trouble in Little China. They were only going to do one event with Fathom. Okay. It sold out so fast, they ended up doing 3 showings of it, and every single one sold out. Like, you talk about that big Senator Theater, packed, like nowhere to sit, bro. And everybody's like a Big Trouble in Little China fan, so it's just everybody's. It was like going to Rocky Horror Picture. Everybody was in tune with every scene, and so good. But it was like, believe it or not, that was the first kung fu movie ever filmed in America, 1984. And so what John Carpenter did, you guys know I'm an advocate for my culture and community in Baltimore. He was an advocate for the culture and community in California and the Asian community. So he was an ally for them, and so his vision was to make this movie. So he took all those stereotyped character Asian actors that we see in every episode of Magnum PI, A-Team, MacGyver, right? All these 80s shows, all these 80s movies are always playing the terrorists, or always, like, when I tell you watch the movie, you see every Chinese guy that was acting in Hollywood at the time, he brought them all together to make this movie just for their culture, right? And it's amazing, and it's in Chinatown, and Kurt Russell's at the wheel, and to me, the epitome of Kurt Russell. Like, when I Jack Burton character, when I just grew up watching that, I expect nothing less than that kind of character in the movies he plays. So one of the Kurt Russell movies I really love, that said, is there's a new one called The Art of the Steal.
Okay.
I say new, like 2015 or something. This young guy, Jay Baruchel, who was in the Goon movie with Scott Williams, the Stifler guy. Yeah. He was a Magician's Apprentice with Nick Cage. So he's a younger guy. And then who else was in it?
You said Art of the Steal?
Yeah, I lost track of the guy, General Zod from the 1980s Donner Superman. What is his name? He's in it.
Okay.
Are you looking at it? Yeah, they got a really good cast.
Yeah. And
they it's a really great heist movie. It's got a really great twist. Do you remember the score? You ever watch the score?
Yeah, I remember the score.
So the score, they got Ed Norton playing his character is a con man who's playing a retarded janitor to get inside and get everybody lower their guard to, so he can get information on how to break into this place. And and I say that because not to be inappropriate or nothing, but at the end of the movie and during the plot twist at the end of that movie, Ed Norton gets left with nothing, and De Niro gets he thinks he gets over De Niro, but he doesn't. And De Niro's like, okay, thank you, bye-bye. And it's like, he says it in the voice of the character that he was playing in the movie. And it's just my favorite moment because he's just yeah, but it has plot twists like that along the way that are really fun. Older Kurt Russell, and he's owning his age. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
this is a good cast of people.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, bro. If you're down for a heist movie, that's one. Another heist movie I recommend highly is what's the one with Ice Cube, son? Den of Thieves. That is a
Oh,
good gritty
yeah.
movie, man. Yeah, Den of Thieves was a lot of fun. One of our guys, Leon Beckwith from East Baltimore. He's the pretty light skinned big buff guy with the long like Hawaii. He's Hawaiian looking, I think, with the long beautiful hair. Like
Okay.
he's from East Baltimore, man, and he's one of the crew for 50 Cent in that movie. Yeah, so a little Baltimore plug there, but no, it's a lot of fun. Great plot twist at the end of that as well. I'm still waiting on Den of Thieves too because they left it open for a British version.
Okay.
If you watch it at the end of the movie, they kind of left it open for like not a part two, but like a shooting a similar film in Great Britain. So hopefully somebody takes them up on that.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite heist films probably is what is that one?
Inside Man.
I think it's Money Train. Money Train and Inside Man is a good one too.
Inside Man's original. I love I like it was a long time that we had seen anything original in heist movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then Inside Man came along and it was like,
Yeah.
wow. Because I don't even like Clive. I don't like Clive Owen, whatever his name is. For some
Yeah.
reason, I can't stand to watch him. He grinds my gears, but it was good. No, Money Train. Yeah, dude. Woody and Wesley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the White Man Can't Jump duo. They got good energy too, man. Yeah, that was a fun Money Train. Gosh, what was one? Do you remember Money Talks with Chris Tucker and Charlie Sheen?
Yep. Yeah.
That one was. I'm not saying it's a great movie, but Chris Tucker is like hella funny in that movie.
And that's just a wild two people to kind of pair together. Chris Tucker.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing with that's why I love buddy cop movies or whatever. You want to those type, even if it's not a cop movie, those buddy cop relationships, right? Like Chris Tucker, Ice Cube. Wow. Have you ever seen Showtime with De Niro and Eddie Murphy? Holy crap!
I know about it. I can't remember. I feel as I've seen it. I just don't remember it.
It is like Key and Peele, right? They feed off each other. They're ridiculous. No, De Niro and Eddie Murphy. It's called Showtime. It's a buddy cop movie. It's a little 2000 something throwback to the old like 80s cop movies. It is hilarious, dude. Like De Niro is so no nonsense, and Eddie Murphy is a complete clown. He's like a police officer, but really he dreams of being an actor and goes on all these auditions, and it is good, bro.
Oh wow, William Shatner's in it. Most Def.
Yeah. Most Def is in it, isn't he? Yeah.
I haven't seen.
And it's funny you said that because it made me think of Most Def. The first time I seen him and respected him as like one of the greatest actors I'd ever seen as a young man, when he played that character in 16 Blocks with Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah.
You ever seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, he is like so out of character for himself, but like that's my first time seeing him. So in my mind, when I see Mos Def, the guy I think about is the crackhead on the movie who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Right? It's like that dude. He was amazing. And then when I seen him as an artist doing something else, I'm like, what? Because he really sold me on that character, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then I always like the old gritty cops who are like, redeeming themselves. I like redemption stories.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel like that guy out here in the community, or the old guy who's like put up with a bunch of crap, but okay, let's do this one more time. It's real out here in these streets, y'all, for real.
My all-time favorite has to be Lethal Weapon for me, though.
Lethal Weapons, okay. Yeah. All right, you're Lethal Weapon guy. See what was coming. So what was coming out around the same time? Because there was it was like a branch of like Lethal Weapons over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the end of the Beverly Hills cop runs, but there was same time Lethal Weapons was going on, we had Die Hards.
Yeah.
So I was hard focused on Die Hards. Like I can't say I've seen all the Lethal Weapons, but I don't remember them like that. I remember the first one. The first one was like
I remember the first two for sure. I've seen the rest of. I've seen 3 and 4, but I can't like recall like any scenes off.
Right. Okay, yeah, same thing. I'll tell you. Did you watch the series when they rebooted it?
I maybe saw a few episodes. I think with Damon Wayans was in it.
Yeah. I liked it.
I couldn't get into it.
No, okay.
I couldn't get into it.
I liked
it. I think
it only lasted like 1 season. What's that?
I think it only lasted like 1 season, maybe 2.
Yeah. It didn't make the cut, but I like the guy. I like the character that the guy built for Mel Gibson's character. Like he did a good job of Crazy. Like
he did.
That's what I liked about it. I think they made it maybe too serious with that, like a PTSD kind of strap on. where we didn't talk about that back in the 90s and 80s.
Yeah.
So,
And see, my issue is when they taking all these movies and try to make them into TV shows, I kind of lose interest after that. Once they try to make a movie into a TV show, I'm like, I'm over it.
yeah, you know what? I haven't. I'm trying to think of one that I'm sold on because it's a good idea, and I think you like, I'm willing to. I want you to make more money on the story if it's a good story, but do it right. Like I grew up watching Willow, right? Willow with Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis, like
Yeah.
Fantastic. Like that put me in another world when I watched that. It was another one. But the series was like they were clowning on it almost. It was the Disney series was so dumb. It was like insulting to the movie. I'm like, are you guys trolling my movie for real? And you think this is good? Like, no, so disrespect. I hated it, but I wanted to like it. Same with the Dark Crystal. Like I wasn't vibing with that remake. They did True Lies.
Yep.
And it's okay. But it almost seems like a sitcom. It almost seems like I'm watching like Married with Children version of True Lies. Like they're pushing funny too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, so I'm trying to think of one that I like.
Dark Crystal. My daughter, she liked it. I couldn't get into it. Not the the show or whatever. And it's another show.
Remember this one?
Yes, that is the never ending story. Oh my god.
Yeah. My
I
wife
can put that on right now and watch it like I've never seen it.
Yeah. But you know what? My wife won't watch it anymore as an adult because of the trauma she went through when Atreyu's horse died.
Oh man.
She like is an animal and she's empathetic to animals. Like we have 3 cats and 2 dogs and 2 teenagers. Look, she going off. I don't know. Look, next month, Monica, you're joining us next month, first Sunday. Put on your calendar, 3:00 after church.
Chronicles
or leave church early if you go to Black Church. Leave early. Never ending story, man. Oh my god. And like so, Monica, you put in chat if you know the name of his mother that he screams into the wind at the end of the movie. You can type that in there. Because I know what it is because I've read the script. Like that's how much of a movie like problem that I have. Like read scripts to movies that I grew up on. So anyway, never ending story, man. And as a kid, it was such a mystery because like we couldn't hear what he was saying. He's just screaming.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is it, man? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't like the third one, and the second one was hit or miss. But
I never even I know about them, but I never even bothered watching them because I just knew like that was such a magical like movie, like you're not going to do that again.
Because like I watched the first one again and again, but the other 2 I can't get with.
All right, look, y'all. She said she's there. We documented it on the internet. It must be true. She's going to be there next month. And be ready. Watch let's talk some movies, baby. I can't wait to talk.
Yes.
She got a story. See, she's got stories. Yes. Thank you. You probably remember the old matinees, right? On Saturday, he'd take you on Saturdays for the matinees. That's what my dad would do. And that's what we used to do with the kids. Till COVID happened, shut everything down. We were taking kids to because I could take like 15 kids to the movies for like less than $100 if we went on a Saturday morning before like 12.
Before 12.
Yep. See? Yep. It's a vibe in Baltimore. That's what we do.
When I went to go see Guardians yesterday, I went to like the first show at like 9:00 in the morning.
Yeah. And you got the whole theater to yourself. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's only a few people in there.
The theaters now, bro. Like people think theaters are going to close. Like I have my home, which is comfortable. I love watching movies and bootlegs in my home. Like arrest me. I don't care. I do it. But I love going to the theater, man. The experience, the recliner. It's just so cool. Like you recline with your homeboys and watch a movie. Or like my wife, whatever. I love it. And we sneak dollar store snacks in there. So what? We still buy popcorn. We bought the movie ticket. Relax.
Shucks, from what I've been reading though, and talked to a couple of movie people, they don't even care if you sneak snacks in, as long as you don't make it obvious.
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, as well, the owners, they really break even on the ticket sales. They make money on the concession. So I respect it. I know that and honor that. Like back in the day, we used to go to you remember Hillendale Theater over East? So you was over West probably, I think, right? So over East, we had the Hillendale Theater, which is on Taylor Avenue. And when I was a kid in the 90s, it was $1. Oh, wow. And they'd show a movie that was out 3 months ago, but it was only $1. And a church
the name of the theater I was going where I lived at, but it was a $2 theater, and every Wednesday is bring your own bag and you get free popcorn. People would literally
Hey,
bring trash bags, and the theater would fill up the trash bag for them.
hell yeah. And I bet you they'd eat it all too. Like I can see that
Yeah.
because for me, I've already ran through my first bucket by the time trailers are over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, shit. I'm sending one of the kids like, yo, go grab some more real quick.
You
Won't
pay
you go?
$2, you can watch movies all day with them.
And I'll spend and I'm the guy. Oh yeah,
And then,
yeah,
like you
that's right.
said,
They had
is
that.
the
Yeah, they
movie's been out
they
for
show
like
like
3,
three
4
different
months
movies.
already. So
Yep.
it's like
Every year I try to go to every year I try to go to the drive through out towards Essex, past Essex. Was it
okay.
Benji's?
Yeah.
Because you never know when's going to be the last year. But Benji's is cool because on a Friday night, like pay $15-$20, whatever it is, and you can you watch 3 movies. It's a kids movie, it's an adult movie, and then it's a horror movie usually to follow.
Okay.
Let's see here. It's was George Perfect Storm. Okay, I agree. I agree. Okay, I see what she brings to the table. Yeah, okay. You were immersed in the sea and the storm and everything.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
the perfect storm. Yeah, that was and they built up good suspense and anticipation along the way. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't like I don't know, it felt genuine. You're right. There's like a genuine because you were invested in the characters. It gave you enough of the characters and story. Yeah, man. Another one, a perfect storm. I always put in the category with Bill Pat. It was a Bill Paxton, Bill Pullman, Bill Paxton.
Tornado.
Yep. Yes, the tornado movie Twister.
Twister, yeah.
Yeah, because you are in it.
That is Danelle's favorite movie, Twister. She loves that movie.
Because you're in it. You feel like you're in it, like the movie takes you on a journey, like the perfect storm.
Yes.
You feel it coming, and then you're in the middle of this perfect storm. Like same with Twister. You feel like you're caught in a tornado, bro. It's exciting. It's like I couldn't imagine how you sell that to the studio before they make it. Like you definitely had to put in work up front and show them what you're talking about. You're like, oh, we're gonna make a movie about a tornado. Yeah, it sounds dumb. but they made something out of it. Yeah, look, she's vibing with it. All right. Yep.
Yep, she did.
Yeah, man, Perfect Storm's a good one. I might have to show that to the boys. I don't know if they showed them that one.
Yeah, it's been years since I've seen that one.
I know, right?
Like
no, I like where you're going with this. Yeah, we're gonna have fun next month with our special guest and special guest host Monica Cooper. Yeah, we're gonna talk some stuff, man. We'll have to have some themes or something. Like I see where you're going with stuff, so we'll have to talk some. So we'll have to get some in-depth movie catalog to talk about.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Chronicles of Narnia. I want to go back to that because she put After Entering Story Chronicles of Narnia. That was a newer generation. Like I watched them with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That was like for me though. Those are my bedtime stories. Like my dad had those set of books. Okay. So for me, pre-movies, before I was old enough to really enjoy movies, my dad would read to me at night. He'd read to me Lord of the Rings, Tolkien, and he'd read to me Chronicles of Narnia. And those are my bedtime stories over and over and over again. Kind of like probably why I watch movies like that, because movies are, for me, how I digest stories.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'll watch movies over and over again if I enjoy them. Even if you know the ending, like the beauty of it, it's like the Bible. Like I already know how it ends, but the beauty of watching the story unfold in front of you, live, in real time, right? Like, I'm saved. So like I know the story. I know the beginning to end. It's already been given to me. And it's like a good movie. It's like a good movie. Even if I know how it ends, if I enjoy the storytelling, I'm gonna watch it over and over again. One for me, I watch over and over again because I'm so fascinated with the cinematography. Miss Monica is Sin City.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So here's my thing with Sin City. Here's my beef with those who forced him to make that movie instead of what he wanted to do. So Frank Miller is the author and creator of Dark Knight series, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Graphic novels. And he pitched to the studios. He said, basically, the style that we saw in Sin City 1 and 2, he wanted to make his Batman Dark Knight movies in that style.
Oh, wow.
Warner Brothers, who had the DC contract, who still does, they still have the DC contract, decided that if he made a Batman movie that dark and in that style, it wouldn't be marketable enough for toys and lunchboxes and T-shirts and all the swag where they really grind out the money after the movie. So they said no. And I'm like, he wrote Dark Knight. You're telling him he can't translate his own film from the graphic novel, and then so that's why he did Sin City. He went in that direction, but he really his original pitch was to do Dark Knight in that style. And as a Batman fan, absolutely deserve that.
Yeah,
So
it would
like,
have been amazing. That would
forget
have been amazing.
studios. Like, yeah, like I still deserve that. Like, you should still, please, if you ever watch this, Frank Miller, please, let's do the Batman in that style. Like, I need that. I'm fiending for that. I would feast on that for years. Oh my gosh, it'd be so good. It would be so
Yes,
good.
that would have been amazing.
Um, Same with so another one I like. Another one that the studios and the culture really shut down for me, who was like part of my childhood, was Luc Besson with Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm.
So the Fifth Element was supposed to be a 3-part trilogy, and the studios weren't invested in the idea, so they forced him to make it into one movie in case they couldn't, because they're afraid to invest in a. Back then, people weren't making trilogies either, right? Let's in the '90s. Like nowadays, it's pretty common, but like The Matrix was the first to really re-spark those trilogy movies that we get now. In my opinion, unless somebody's got another one they can point out. I think The Matrix is kind of what brought it back. But no, like so he was very frustrated, had to edit like 3-hour movies into one, like 2:45, however long it is, one movie. He hated it. He was disgusted with it. He walked away from the industry for a long time because of it. And he came back. He had done a couple of things, but the big one he came back to do, which was like an epic, like Fifth Element, was Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. And I just watched it recently again, revisited it, and I loved it. Kind of like it feels like the beginning of a bigger universe. Yeah. But knowing how he feels about the industry, he's not about the money, and so he's not really going to play ball with them to keep grinding out more stories. Which is sad. They may bring other people on, but you're not going to have Luc Besson, which is like, I don't know. For me, the Fifth Element is like his heart and soul, chopped up into little pieces, turned into like ground beef steak. Like, oh, but even so, it's so good.
The thing I don't like is when people make trilogies, and it could be a good trilogy, but then years later you want to make a fourth one. Like, why? Like, what's that movie? The great dude,
Star Wars. He started with 4 because he already had the plan.
They great do another Rush Hour movie, another Bad Boys movie. I'm like, we don't need a fourth movie of those.
Yeah, there's something magical about the number 3.
Ended it good, and you want to now bring a fourth one, and that's like yesterday when I was in the theater, they showed a trailer for another Hunger Game movies, and I'm like, I like Hunger Games. Hunger Games is
let's talk about that.
I love those series. And then they're doing a fourth one, but it's supposed to be like a prequel, like Star Wars. So it's like, I'm tired of movies that's give me 3 good movies and then want to take me backwards.
Well, how would you like? They want to give you more storytelling. So how would you prefer it? Would you prefer to have taken like the characters from a movie and doing a series on their backstory?
I mean, either do everything in the movie from the beginning, or just because the kind of do 3 whole movies and then wait years later to then give me a part 4, but is the prequel. Like, it's been 5 years, 10 years since these movies been out, and now you want to give me a part 4, and it's like, it's kind of like, is it just fan service, or do you really want to continue telling your story? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's fan service, then it's not really going to be that good of a movie. But if you really want to finish telling your story, like Star Wars, it could probably be a good movie.
I don't know. I'm opinionated about Star Wars. I'll just use an example of he started with 4. I was just trying to think of other movies that have 4th. Like, you're right, but if you like the genre, you're not mad at it. Like you weren't mad at Lethal Weapon 4.
Yeah,
I wasn't mad at Die Hard 4. Like, I need some more.
See, there was also kind of continuations though. It really wasn't a it just depends on how long it took for the next one.
I see what you're saying. It wasn't like, someone else bought the licensing and wants to make more money off this brand name or something.
Yeah, because like, how long has it been since Bad Boys 3 been out? Like, and now you ready to do a 4th one? Like, it's not needed because the 3rd one ended really well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I dig that.
And then I guess like with Hunger Games, I guess it being a fantasy, I guess doing a prequel for it can kind of further along the story some, I guess. So the previews look good. I just hope.
Thank George Lucas. He was the first one to do that. We got Star Wars 4, 5, 6, and then he went back and did 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Now you got the shows like The Mandalorian and stuff. I'm trying to catch up on the new
I
season.
gotta watch. I gotta watch the new season too. But
Yeah.
I like Mando.
Yeah.
I like Mando. I thought I didn't get through the first couple episodes of Obi-Wan because it came real kiddish real quick.
Yeah.
Although I have done some one-on-one scenes with Moses Ingram, the third sister. That's right. Look for me in hold on, Lady in the Lake, coming out on I believe Paramount Plus. There's a scene where we do a documentary. A documentary crew inside the movie is interviewing Moses Ingram's character. It's myself, Moses, and Nakia Dion, who's from West Baltimore. She's the person interviewing. And at first, there's like a room full of people, and they do some shots. But then for like the next 4 hours, they took shots of just me on the camera, third sister in her character, or whatever character that the young lady in the show, and then Nakia Dion, she gets like the person we're interviewing like really is just like stressed out, and she breaks out in kind of a violent outburst. The interviewer jumps behind me, and like so, a little claim to fame there. I've worked with third sister.
Cool.
And like we're the only three in the room. So like honestly, I didn't recognize her. I know she looked familiar, but I'm from Baltimore, so like everyone looks familiar to me because we get around, we get around town, right?
Yeah.
So I know everybody from everywhere. So I thought it was just a sister from like over west. I don't see that much or something. Because I was an extra, and so I assumed the other two were. They were really kind. We were talking or whatever, rapping, and I found out that Nakia Dion, she's on. What show is she on? She does L.A. SWAT or something.
Okay.
That's her regular day job. She's a detective on there. But found out she's from West Baltimore. I knew her mom from doing community work. Her mom's a community advocate. So I'm like, oh, snap, small world. Then I looked her up and I'm like, oh, really small world. Like you actually got a steady gig in LA. Like you doing stuff. Like, wow, very proud of her. So proud of you. I'm going to send you this link so you can watch us talking about you. And then Moses Ingram looks super familiar to me. Obi-Wan had just come out, but I didn't know who she was like that.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but she was real cool. We're all day long. And then end of the day, I was like, why do you keep calling her Moses? And I looked her up, and like it's the first thing that popped up on Google, and Moses Ingram. I'm like, oh, snap. Okay. So yeah, super cool experience. And they were like really, really great. Like Moses is super intense. Both women are very professional, and they were treating people kindly. Not all the actors do. And I think people sometimes take that out of context. I'll share this with you. Like, I'm a background guy. I'm making between $200 and $1,000 a day. Sounds good, but it's not everyday work.
Yeah.
So, and then speaking roles pay more, and I finally got a couple speaking roles coming up. But I'll tell you, like, as an actor, you jump from making like 500 a day average to maybe 5,000 a day if you have speaking roles, somewhere around there. So it's a very significant jump, right? And so if I'm a nobody baby actor and I can pull a couple $1,000s for one day of work, doing some lines and stuff, and I'm nobody with like a nobody role, like an officer with a couple lines or a bartender with a couple lines or something. Imagine what money like the big people are making, right? Which I have no idea. Yeah. So like, let's say if they're making 20,000 a day, it's probably way more than that, probably 50,000 a day. And you're on set, and some person making $500 a day wants to like be like, oh, hey, how are you? Nice to work with you. And like you're in character, you're memorizing 7 pages of line for today and the next day, and like you're in your money making mode, and someone's jamming you up for making $50,000 that day.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of my face, bro. Like seriously, like I'm putting in work. Like just leave me alone.
Yeah.
So I respect the hustle, but if you don't have that context, then you meet people and they're like, oh, like so and so. Like some people were like, oh, Natalie Portman was so mean on set. Like, stop jamming her money up. Yeah. Seriously, like respect, because like there's a scene where we're doing Lady in Lake, and I have to walk. I'm as an extra. I'm walking behind her while she's having a conversation with one of the main characters, and she is one of the main characters. And the director's like, no, walk in front of her, between her and the camera. And I'm looking like, oh, you setting me up, bro. Like, nah. So the first take, I stuttered, and then I went left behind her again. And they cut the scene, and she said, look, man, it's okay. Go. I need you to go. I want you. He's like, the assistant director comes over. He's like, look, he wants you to go this way. And I said, okay. I wasn't sure. Didn't sound right. Get in front of the camera. It's unprofessional. He's like, no, we want that for that take. So I'm like, okay. But I was like scared because like I didn't want to get sent home for again messing up her money, man.
Yeah.
But you know, I can say, oh well, the director like just told me twice to do it, so now I'm going to do that. So, but yeah, that's the thing. People think people act funny on set. Like you start making $100,000 a day, and someone tries to interrupt your work. See how you feel. Like put that in context, please.
Yeah.
But there are people that are not very kind. Like John Bernthal was super cool. Like when I met him on filming We Own the City, and it was like all the extra cast, he would just talk to you like he's been knowing you, he's been working with you, so he acknowledges that. But he'll be like, well, like I brought my brother David on set one day, got him a role as a police officer with me, so he's a detective in the role room. And this sucker, I've been working for like months as an extra, changing my look up, doing stuff. And David, like, it's his first day on a movie set ever. And here's John Bernthal standing up, leaning against the wall in the scene in the roll call room, and he's like, hey, chief, ha, 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 free LaRonde, and doing all this goofing off in a roll call meeting. Well, my brother David's sitting down here right in front of him like this, looking bored like he should at a roll call meeting. I'm like, how do you get front and center with John Bernthal, right? So when the scenes are, when the camera's off and we're just like waiting for the next take, he's sitting there rapping with John Bernthal. He's like, dude, I was talking to Punisher. I'm like, yeah. He's like, bro, I think he took me for the wrong person. He's like, hey, good to see you again, this and that, just showing him love. I'm like, no, that's how he is on set. Like he's,
Wow.
So there's certain people that are like appreciative and they're, just different characters, but I don't get mad at them if they're not engaging. What I'm saying is I don't get mad at them if they're not engaging anything around them that's not making money in that moment because so that's me.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully I'll start getting that money, and I don't think I'll ever treat people like that just because, like, to a fault, like money is not as valuable as it should be.
Yeah,
it frustrates my partner, my wife, sometimes because she's like, "You gave how much to what?" It's like, we don't need it, we're okay. She's like, "Yeah, we got bills, bro." It's like, we'll figure it out. So, but hopefully, like that's one of the reasons I've been pursuing the acting career, and it's discouraging. It's hard, like work. It's hard to get work. When you get work, you get paid, and it's fine. But it's like you got to stay in it, stay steady. So we'll get there, man. I'm gonna get back on my rhythm. But definitely going to LA in June will be a big part of that. So thank you to Marlena Angelique. You can look her up, Marlena Angelique, on IMDb. She's a producer, showrunner, actress. She does it all. She's been grinding to get where she's at, and she's a showrunner for Kim and DC. So,
okay,
yeah, she's from Baltimore. She was on the background with a lot of us during Lioness and the HBO projects and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then I don't know. There's if you guys look up, I'm gonna put one in here in the chats for us on the banner. There's a guy called Jay Jinx. So I feel like it's important for me to share this because I'm working on a project with him. Let's see here. Sorry, technology. So if you guys look up online, it's either on IG or on YouTube. But if you look up J Jinx Films, so this guy's a hustler, man. I don't know a lot about him, but I saw a trailer he made for a movie he's making, and I just felt like it was a vibe. Like I love personally. I'll check out sci-fi, anything sci-fi all day.
Yeah.
I will 100%, 1,000% check out time travel movies. No matter what, no matter how bad, no matter how B budget, like I don't care. Like time travel movies fascinate me. The way that people approach it and like the different because everything's outside the box and there are no rules once you've crossed that line. So it's like it's fun figuring out the rules for each person's world as they create their time travel scenario. I love all of it. So there's a guy who's created this like dystopian sci-fi movie. It's in the future. It's like technology has been watch the trailer. So go to J Jinx Films, watch the trailer. The movie's called In Unison. So just watch the trailer. I'm part of that project as an extra. I was privileged to be an extra. he has but hopefully if it gets if it gets big, I can do some auditions and script reads. But being in early is part of that, right? So,
Yeah,
but what's
yeah.
cool is this guy. He's filming right now. So he filmed his trailer. I think he's filming like a short, which will translate to a bigger trailer that is going to air at Comic Con this year. So
Okay.
I will be at Comic Con. I will be on a trailer on the big screen at Comic Con this year. So like, even though it wasn't like a SAG paid gig, I don't know if I'm allowed to work it or not, but I did because I support my artists. It was really great, man. It was a great experience. Got to meet some really creative people. I got to see some really creative filming. This guy is creative, and I can't. I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, so I won't. But I will talk about it at Comic Con because if I get the mic up there, I'm going to share what I saw. This guy's amazing, and worked with what he had and did some fantastic stuff. So there's that.
We'll definitely be at Comic Con.
In unison, J Jinx Films right there. Um, Another project working on with is a group of guys out of Frederick. So this is an interesting one for me. All the projects so far I've worked on have been like I have mixed sons who are perceived as black, and so um, what I do is important. Try to be intentional. So the first three projects I worked on, I was kind of proud that I could show that to them. Like We Own the City was historic. It was a
Mhm.
Baltimore truth. So yeah, I'm doing a show. Wife's yelling at me. So We Own the City was like historically significant to Baltimore history and is important that we got to speak our truth through that show. So
Mhm.
I was proud to be part of that. I was robbed as a kid by those guys twice. Um, you know, they chased me over the county line up to Putty Hill off Pairing, and they robbed me down by Shot Tower down at the
Mhm.
end of '83. So, but there was everybody there on set was who was from Baltimore had stories, and we all got to kind of have this big group therapy session on set and film. But it was an important piece to be a part of. I was proud of that. Then the next piece was Lady in the Lake, which is a story about a murder in the '60s. There was two congruent murders. A white woman was murdered and a young black woman was murdered. One body was found in the lake, and like it's the movie. The show is about the differences in the investigation for the white woman and versus the black woman in the '60s.
Mhm.
And so that's part of the theme of the story, and so that was historically significant, culturally significant to race, right? And then the third job I did as an actor was Rustin. So Obama's production company did a biopic on Bayard Rustin, who is a black gay organizer of the March on Washington and the Martin Luther King's famous speech. So he set that up. So it's a biopic on him. It's on Netflix. It'll be dropping in August.
Okay.
So, but these are projects I can be proud to work on, having sons of mixed race, right? Like those
Yeah.
are things that I can show them, and like, um, that's I don't know, I kind of don't know why it's going off in that a little bit, but like as I work, it's important for me like to choose. Oh, here's why I was sharing that. So those roles are like no one can take that away from me. I'm not playing a pedophile. I'm not doing some off the wall movie. It's like these are
Mhm.
significant movies. Um, so I'm doing this one project with these kids in Frederick, and they're doing a movie called Redemption Road. So we'll be talking about that. We'll get them on the show to talk about it too. But they're filming this show, and they're students at a school out there, a film school, and it's about gun violence. It's about redemption. Um, but I'm from Baltimore, right? And so um, there's one kid who's mixed Latino, but they're perceived as a white group of kids, right?
Mhm.
But their story's valid, and the story has intent, and it's thoughtful, and it's empathetic. But like my thing is like you guys are from Frederick, like what do you actually know about this lifestyle, right? What do you actually know about gun violence?
Mhm.
Because I'm from Baltimore and I can tell you that I appreciate this story, right? But like, how are you telling it? And then how are you telling it without any people of color cast in the film, right? I'm like,
Mhm.
this is and I understand like we have spaces where there are not people of color experiencing gun violence too. I just am sensitive to it because I'm from Baltimore, right? So I just like I'm kind of like questioning them, like, what do you guys know about this to have the right to tell this story? Are we misappropriating someone else's narrative, right? So they're receptive to that, and we got some more conversations, and we can have it with them on here, and and I can let them speak for themselves because I feel comfortable working on it because they acknowledge that they don't know everything about it, but they
Mhm.
want to raise awareness and they want to show people in those situations that um, there's different choices that can be made that lead to different consequences or different like things, right? So their heart's in the right place, and we're trying to. So we want to bring them in and just make sure we guide their storytelling process to be, to be genuine.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I'll give an example. Like because we, I know you especially with Donnell. We all deal with. I mean, you're from Baltimore. You are touched by gun violence in every way, all the time. And that said, like for instance, one of the lines in the movie, or like in the movie, like my son had been killed by gun violence, my character, and I give a little monologue, and so like they were like, oh, there's a line where I say, well, my son was hurt by gun violence, and my thing is like, no, he wasn't. Like when you write this, like he wasn't hurt, like he's okay. It's final, like he's done, he's murdered. Like let's make sure that there's a finality to the vocabulary you're using. Like there is no, oh, he was hurt. Like no, this is brutal, and it's like it's ruthless. It's not. Yeah. It's not a boo-boo. You can't put a Band-Aid on death, right?
Right.
A scene where they say like, "Oh, my son paid the price." I said, "Well, let's correct that line and say that my son died, and we all pay the price because that's the true narrative." Like when we kill someone out in these streets, man, not to get on my soapbox, but like that's not just loss of that person, but that void that person leaves behind affects a family, a community, city, a nation. Because they are not able to fulfill their potential, and it affects those relational equity they had. It affects parents and friends and neighbors and teachers, and like it ripples, man. And they get that and they receive that. So like that's what I'm saying is these guys, they're young, they're filmmakers. They want to tell a story. They want to change the world with their film. So I got help guide those conversations, and that's why I feel comfortable being in that space. Because they're willing to receive more information than what they have to make sure they're doing most with their film. So six what is it called? Six Studio. I will have them on and we'll get the name. It's Six Something Studios. And then there's one called Risky Business. I did. I have to look them up on IG to give you the film production company's name. But this guy Al, local film guy. He's doing this series with Erica Kane and Desi. What's his name? The comedian from Baltimore. He's hella funny, bro. He's oh my gosh, this guy's like, you guys know I do on and off security at Baltimore Comedy Factory. Desi blew away the headliner. Like I felt bad for whoever the headliner was. I'm not going to say their name. Just know that Desi from Baltimore, he's crushing it. So he's a main character. And this guy out, and we were filming, and it was cool. Like it's cool filming, like because you discover new places. Like we were filming, like 2 doors down from the new Lexington Market. There's the Black Genius Art Gallery.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
Okay.
And I should know that. We were in there filming, and like it was so cool, and we had such a cool vibe. Like people were coming in, look at us, like they're like, and this is funny because I'm perceived as white. But the people out front are like, "Are you the owner?" I'm like, "Black Genius Art Gallery." No. But I looked sharp though because I was in my wardrobe. I looked good, right? So, but it was cool because then it started a conversation which led people into a space, a creative space, an art gallery, an entrepreneur, small business that they didn't even know existed, and they didn't even know they were allowed to come in.
Oh wow!
Right? Oh, I'm allowed to go in there? Please come in.
Yeah.
Please experience the art that my brother has created for you. Like. Yes. So, yeah, man. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much Baltimore has to offer, and people tend to miss out. Even people that's been here their whole life, like it's stuff like that people don't know about or pay attention to. So it's
like today.
Areas in Baltimore I haven't been to, and I've been here my whole life. So.
I was going to say, to your point, I bet you didn't know today was Filipino Festival downtown. Maybe
I didn't until I seen your post from earlier.
Yeah, I was already there.
So yeah, you were down there.
So like Filipino Festival, man, it was fun. We ate good. No, it was really cool. It's a very small network.
Yeah,
it's a very tight network. So like being in that space and just serving the community in that way for a couple hours was like super fun. Met some really great people. And just made, just always our relationships. Every time we make a relationship with someone different from ourselves, we're always knitting the fabric of Baltimore just a little bit tighter together. Like it's so important, man. Like just networking and being in spaces where bringing diversity to spaces.
Yeah,
for sure. And I knew a little bit of Filipino Tagalog, so enough to make some old girls smile, and they're like, oh, like, it's little stuff like please, hello, thank you.
Yeah.
That stuff matters. And then admitting like that's all I know. But usually people appreciate it. I've never had someone not. And I didn't know that the Filipinos, I learned today, is a heavily leans toward the Muslim faith as a nation. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Not that I judge either way. I just was like kind of monumentally naive because I'm from America and I was raised in public school. So you guys are lucky I can read. That's a whole nother show. We talk about that on Mondays. So, but speaking of school, like, what's your favorite? So, like, I'm a sucker for high school movies. Like my guilty pleasure. There was a season I'll never revisit it, but the season of Twilight, like, it was vampire, it was high school movie drama. I was all about it, bro. I noticed it for 12-year-old girls, but like I'm sucked into this. And then finally, like in the third movie or something, whatever it was, like the suspense when they finally just kissed, I was like, oh, I've been waiting for this. Thank you so much. Like, and it's so dumb, but like it got me. They got me. So like, but like, what's your favorite high school movie? Or it's hard to pick one, right? So like, what are some top ones?
It's really hard to say. Like, first one that jumps off my head is going back to the Future. When you think about it, they were in high school. He was dealing with a high school bully. So
that is a good one. That's a good one. All right. I would say Breakfast Club. I'm sure it would be on your list.
Yeah, Breakfast Club is a good one. I can't think of the name of this movie. Who was in this movie?
Now, how old are you? Do you remember? Did you ever watch Did you ever watch Cooley High?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Cooley High. Yes, that's a classic. That is. I could watch that right now.
Right.
Love it.
Weird Science.
Yeah. See.
Okay. Yeah, Weird Science was like
that's a real.
I ain't never seen nothing like it since. Like that was just a fun oddball movie.
I'm surprised they haven't remade it.
Ferris Bueller's is a classic. Yeah, Weird Science. You could definitely do some development with the technology, bro. That would be significant.
And then also looking back on it though, like they were saying, you got these two high school boys in the one scene, and they're in the shower with this grown woman. Like that might not translate too well.
Right? How do you do that these days? That's interesting. Yeah.
Because they're supposed to.
Because they're in their shorts and they're
they're running around with this grown woman. Like, wait a minute. Like,
I remember.
I wasn't a fan of it back then.
No,
I wasn't a fan. I don't know what it was. I just never liked it.
No, that was one on my list. My dad had a bootleg of. It was like I'm trying to think though. Pretty in Pink's a classic for me.
Okay.
Did you ever see Dazed and Confused? It's like a 70s. It's a 70s genre. I mean, it's made in the 90s, but it goes back to the 70s high school days. It's kind of fun to watch. Or it's kind of like in the spirit of what's the one with Ron Howard? They're back in the 50s, just cruising American Graffiti.
American Graffiti, yeah.
Yeah, so it's in the vibe of that. It's just the 70s. Everybody's smoking weed. Hey, the Breakfast Club group does St. Elmo's Fire. That's right. But that's not a high school movie. But yeah, post high school. Yeah. So yeah, and the girl did. Do you remember Short Circuits?
Yes, Short Circuit.
Yeah, the girl from Breakfast Club. She did the Short Circuit movies.
Yeah, that's the fun. And again, it's another movie I'm surprised they have not remade yet.
Breakfast Club. They could do it. That's another one too, right? Because I don't think the characters have changed that much, except how they look different, right? Like I think that's the main thing is like recasting that is that they look different. Like the nerd back then is like the cool kid now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like it would just you shuffle them up for today's culture, but I think you still have a good again a movie about diversity, right? And everybody's talking about their differences and stuff. Like I think that's.
I'm trying to see. It's a high school movie. I can't think of the name of it, but I know it when I see it.
Pitch Perfect was fun. Another guilty pleasure. That was a fun one to watch.
Oh, where is it? What is it? Higher Learning. That's the name of it.
Yeah. Is that with the blonde? No. Who's in that?
That was because it's a John Singleton film,
Yeah.
and like that's when Ice Cube, Omar Epps, Michael Rappaport is in it, Lawrence Fishburne.
Omar Epps, yeah. Whatever happened to Omar Epps, bro? He used to be my favorite. He was like my man crush as a kid. Like
See,
I'd
this
run to
came
see
out.
whatever he was making.
It came out in 1995, so like movie like that, being a young black kid, kind of translated well. Like I
Look
could
at
see,
this cast, bro. Regina King, Busta Rhymes. Yeah, we need to go revisit that one.
yeah,
Wow. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's a good one, man. Higher learning. I remember Edgar Olmez did a urban high school movie too, where like the kids are treated like they're dumb, and he
mm-hmm.
gets them to gets them to get high scores on a math test to prove they're not or something. And then Denzel did one like that, and then Michelle Pfeiffer did one.
Oh, and I can't forget House Party. That's
He,
it.
they
That's
remade
the
that one. Have
ultimate
you seen
high
it?
school movie.
Have you
I
seen it?
I refuse to see the new one. I don't like the look of it.
We're just talking about that though. They're doing remakes. We gotta.
I don't like the look of it. I don't like the story behind it. I don't like it. Yeah, I get they was trying to do an original story and change the story. They shouldn't even call it a house party. They should have called it something else. Yeah,
Okay.
like it's two guys that's running the cleaning service. They just so happen to get a contract to clean LeBron James's house, and then decide to hold a party in his house to raise what $5,000 to send his daughter to private school. I'm like, really? That's the story y'all giving me with this movie? And then have all these big stars in LeBron James's house. Like,
She's with you.
like that's one remake that's not needed, but they made it and it's out there.
Yeah. All right.
You gotta watch House Party. Watch the first two. Like,
that is true. I'm trying to think. There was another show. I feel like they redid because they do redo TV shows too, right? Like they redid Magnum PI. Did you see that one?
It's funny because my mother watches like a Wi-Fi one, all those remakes.
Uh-huh.
And one day I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to do Magnum PI, because growing up, that was one of my favorites. I used to watch with my grandmother. And then sure enough, as soon as I said that, I saw a trailer for the remake of Magnum PI. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't really know if it's
so my mom same way. Like my mom watches as kids we watched I'm telling you, bro, like TV and movie is so influential in our lives as children, man. Like I remember watching Monday nights was like MacGyver, Tuesday was Magnum, Wednesday was like A-Team. Like we had some good shows, bro. We had some dope shows. But my mom watched all that stuff, and she messed around and watched the new Magnum PI, and I was like, "Ma, you cheating on Tom Selleck?" She's like, "No, this guy does a good job." I'm like, "You cheating on Tom Selleck?" But she likes it. She likes the new Hawaii 5-0 as well.
Yeah, I like the new Hawaii 5-0.
And she's the type who will watch, like my mom's watches NCIS, everything from NCIS to Andy Griffith Show. If there's a mystery or suspense crime drama, she's, if it's not too serious, she's watching it.
Yeah,
the Columbo's, the Murder She Wrote.
Yeah.
So look, Monica. I just wanted to point back. Monica's she said she ain't watched the new House Party either. Me neither. I tried to watch the remake of Fresh Prince, and I was both impressed with the acting and the drama, and not impressed with how they didn't capture that spark that Will had. And see, it's really good, but it's a little too too heavy for me, right? A little too dramatic, which is fine.
A lot of people say this is really good and everything. My thing is, I'm not too big on certain dramas nowadays, because it's kind of like it's enough drama in the world. I need comedy and action.
Yeah, we need a little break or some levity.
So like for me, I enjoyed the original Fresh Prince because it was a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Fresh Prince. People love it, but it's a drama. It's not a comedy.
But it was serious. It had those family ties, like Cosby Show, like bringing home moments, right? Bringing home. They were about something. It wasn't just like comedy for the sake of comedy. So I just felt like the new Fresh Prince was that moment, that bringing home moment. Throughout the whole show, it felt the pulse felt like that. So it was kind of like heavy. It was heavy. I get it. Like, even though I'm not a black dude, from an urban area. I'm from an urban city. I observe. I'm 45 years observing and being part of the culture, and so I get it.
Yeah,
So I
see,
want
my
to, like you
family
just
watch.
said, I don't want to look out my window and watch it, and then come home and put on a Escape and watch it.
Yeah,
I
so
guess that makes sense.
yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, man. What movies are coming up? We gotta look this.
It's a few movies coming. Like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 just came out. Let me look it up real quick.
Oh, by the way, I'm the guy who will sit and watch like 3 hours of trailers, like
Oh
when they
yeah.
have on YouTube and stuff.
We went to movies like 9 o'clock. The trailers had to be like a half hour. We just got a half hour trailers. And the max, I can't really remember much of them. Um, it is a few movies coming out. Like I said, a new Guardians just came out.
Right? Yeah, I gotta watch that as soon as I can, as soon as it's digitally available. Shoot, let me see. Yeah, I don't know nothing. Oh, there's a George Foreman movie out. Nobody's really talking about
Yeah, yeah,
because Creed. I should probably watch that and have something to say about that.
yeah. That looks
And
like it'd be good.
yeah, and Air is probably really good.
Mhm.
Michael Jordan movie.
Oh, that Russell Crowe movie, The Pope's Exorcist.
Is that look good?
It looks good. It looks pretty good.
I've been passing up watching that, but I might watch that.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I believe it's out.
I like. Let me look now that you said that. Let me put it out there. Like, there's a show called Evil, and
Okay.
I don't know if it's HBO or I don't know what it streams on. But I love it, bro. It's about this group of exorcists. It's got Luke Cage, actor, right,
Mm-hmm.
from Netflix. Luke Cage, and it's about a team of exorcists. It's a little fantastical. It's kind of like almost. It's not as corny as like Grimm, if you ever watched the Grimm TV show,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
it's like that kind of vibe. Like they go around casting out demons and stuff, and the demons are real, and like we get kind of like a cooler version of like the Charmed thing, right?
Okay.
Like we get to engage and see the characters and the demons and stuff, and it's fun. And this exorcist team is made up of like a priest who is, we get to see the flip side of his collar, that he's a broken man, just like the
Mm-hmm.
rest of us. Because a lot of us, if sometimes you see the priest or the pastor as a super religious guy. Well, he's no different from you, and
Yeah.
so we get to see like a broken down man who is a priest who does exorcists, and then one guy is a then one character is the lady main character is a skeptic, like she does not believe in that stuff at all, but she's part of the team,
Okay.
and it's this ragtag team, and the other guy I gotta watch it again. I haven't watched it in a while, but these three, it's this little trio. The one guy like documents everything, right, and it's them like attacking from their different characters, these different scenarios and exorcism, and it's fun. Like it's fun to watch, but like at the same time, I have never seen from beginning to end in one sitting The Exorcist,
Okay.
because I am scared of that movie. Like it's a true
Hey.
story. It happened
Yeah.
less than 50 miles from Baltimore
Yeah.
south, right? It's a true story. It happened to a young man instead of a young woman, like in the movie. But like knowing that it's a true story, and then watching that as a kid, like it affected me, man. Like I like a good horror story. I like the old haunting, and like old stuff, classics. I like new
Yeah.
stuff. It's good, but there's not any good scary movies anymore, ever. I promise you, you're not.
Yeah.
You gotta be doing. If you come up with something that like I like, and it's a new horror movie, like you are doing something significantly to change the genre, because it's all pulp at this point,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But yeah, Exorcist messed me up. Like I've seen the steps that the priest fell. Like I've seen them. I know these are real places, and so that's why it scares me, and that's why I've never sat all the way
Yeah.
through the whole thing, because I'm just.
Because even with the Pope Exorcist, it's based on a real, somebody from the Vatican that was doing exorcisms. So it's
There's another. If you like that type of stuff, there's another show. It's a Spanish show, and I like. I don't like watching voiceover stuff, so I won't watch voiceover stuff.
Mhm.
So I miss a lot of good shows because I have to be in the right mindset to want to read
To read.
um, to read subtitles. But Spanish, I'm learning some Spanish from the Agogi Project from Blanca Tapahuasco. So I got from Comite Latino. I got some connections in the community that are teaching me Spanish. So it's easy to understand some stuff, and it helps me read faster. So all that said, I watched a show called 30 Coins. In Spanish is Treintes Monedas.
Okay.
And it's about the 30 pieces of silver that Judas sold Jesus for. And they're buried and hidden in different places in different churches. And they're like, and there's someone trying to collect all the coins because they have like a supernatural evil power.
Oh, wow.
And then there's this like one like rough, gritty priest who comes in to protect them. And like, he's like a super like badass guy, but he's like a priest. So again, you get to see as an audience, we get to see like the dark side of what he does. It's a really cool show, man. But it's like, you gotta be in, if you're willing to listen and read the subtitles, it is like super good. Okay. On that evil tip, on that, if you like those exorcist stories, like, so I have to check that out. I know my wife won't watch it, but my sons will watch with me. For sure. Yeah. We try to find horror movies, and it's like, it's a sad journey because there's just nobody.
It's not the same.
No, that's all. It's just not the same. Yeah. Like I think today's generation is so, overstimulated with so much information and so much, like, they're not left with anything to imagine because they have access to everything.
Yeah.
And like, really the core of horror movies coming up for us in the 70s and 80s when John Carpenter made Halloween, it was the first slasher movie, right? And I will stake my reputation on Halloween being the movie that launched the genre from werewolves, vampires, mummies, and Frankenstein to like seriously embracing like the psychological thrillers, and adding a touch of violence. So like taking getting away from the old genre of horror films, and embracing like Alfred Hitchcock's suspense thrillers and marrying that to some violence, and evolving the genre into a new direction, right?
Yeah.
But the kids have access to so much of these images now all the time that there's nothing surprises them, and like nothing is left to the imagination. Like the scariest part of Friday the 13th was that I got to go to sleep tonight. In your imagination, you're like, and I'm going to be murdered. Like it was just a seed that was planted. Or like, when they make a sci-fi horror or some kind of horror movie, like when you show me the whole monster in the first like 15 minutes of the show, like, where's the suspense, bro? Like, leave it to my imagination what this thing looks like, and then when you reveal it to me, it's everything I thought it was, or it's completely worse. You know what I mean? Like, imagination is an element in the horror genre that is not necessary in some genres of movies. And if you don't have that in your recipe, then like that's a lot of people are missing that, man.
Yeah, because like growing up, when Child's Play came out, I got rid of my sister's daughter that was in the room. Like,
yeah, no kidding, bro. Or Poltergeist with the stupid clown.
Yeah, like,
all on the chair.
Got rid of all that stuff.
Man.
Friday the 13th, I was like, oh, I'm not going to camp this summer.
we were filming Redemption Road with that, like I said, with those students, and where we're filming at, it was the guy's grandmother's house. Bless her heart. She had the Annabelle dolls everywhere. And I'm just like, I'm getting a whole bunch of Nope vibes. Like, nope. Because we're out in the boonies. I took like a half a mile, like, dirt road to get to the house. And then dude, I was like, what is this? I was like, we should be revisiting this location for a horror film. But for me, like, the scariest stuff is watching with all the new technology, watching ghost hunters go into places like, when they really capture stuff, it's kind of exciting. Like, I'll give you an example. The last scary movie that scared me was that really got my heart rate up and like my back against, like, I slided my chair against the wall, so there's nothing behind you.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it was just that's what it created for me. That experience was The Fourth Kind.
Oh.
I don't know, have you ever seen that one?
A long time ago.
Yeah, so they do this. It's like almost like it's not quite found footage, but like they're filming this experience of people being kidnapped by aliens and stuff, and this whole conspiracy and everything around it. But it's a very immersive. But they film it like it's a documentary or it's like a true story. Like they marketed it as a true story kind of thing. And so with that seed planted in your head, right? Again, that seed, that idea planted, and then going through the movie's experience, you feel like they're coming for me next.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what scared me. And like when I shit you not, my wife loves to tell this story. So like I'm watching the movie at like 3 in the because we don't community people, we don't sleep. It's 3 in the morning. I'm watching the movie, I'm doing some emails, I'm watching the movie, and I slide my chair, like I'm getting freaked out, slide my chair to the back, I go like turn on all the lights in the house. I'm in my 30s. I'm in my 30s. Turn on the lights in the house, come back downstairs, turn the sound down a little bit, just so in case something, I could hear something outside. Man, I had like both dogs on either side of me, on my big dogs on the couch, like my little armrest, and I'm like, okay. But I was like, my heart was beating. But I had to call my wife. I'm like, yo, she's at work at the hospital. And I called her, like, because I'm like, and I was sober, mind you. I'm just like, yo, I'm so scared right now. You got to watch this movie. She's like, hell no. Like, if you're so scared you're calling me while I'm working in the emergency department, no, goodbye. Like, she's like, I was like, she said, what is wrong with you? The next morning, I said, bro, I was so scared. I just needed to hear your voice. Like, it was so good for me. And I haven't had that experience. Like, I've had those experiences as a kid, like watching movies, but like the last one was the fourth kind. Since then, it's been pretty deadpan. Like, whatever.
I guess the last movies that probably got me like that, and I blame my little sisters, was Paranormal Activity. We was kind of,
it's a different style than we're used to.
Yeah, and I didn't really want to watch them, but we was hanging out, and I think she had on DVD. She had like the first 3 or 4, and she got my favorite drink. We sitting there. She gets me somewhat drunk first. She gets me drunk first, and then she puts it on, cut all the lights off in the house. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. Like, no, we're gonna watch it. I'm drunk. I'm sitting there watching this movie with my sisters. Oh my gosh, I was freaked. I kept jumping and everything, like pushing my chair back, like
because like the style of the storytelling with the way that they use cameras and the found footage stuff. It messes with us because although my son loves that genre and he's used to it as a genre, to our generation that looks like security footage, that looks like nonfiction footage. And so even though we know we're watching a movie in our brain, there's something that's like referencing the nonfiction side, making it like kind of real. You're like, wait, what? Yeah, dude. And it's like little stuff like that, little nuances like that are like brilliant. Like my one of my nephews, Josh, he remembers the Cloverfield. He remembers as a kid watching Cloverfield, marketing it and all the advertisements. Basically, as he said, as a kid, I thought they were telling the true story of what happened in like New York or some other city. He's like, because the way they marketed it, it looked like found footage. It looked like newsreels. So when it came out, he's like, Dave, it was one of the greatest film experiences for me as a kid. And like, I'm like, who are you saying this? Like using this vocabulary. He's like, no. He's like, when I watched Cloverfield, I thought it was real because of the advertising. And he's like, as an adult now, I look back and I see what they did. And he's like, and it was brilliant. Right? Because they created that space for him.
Same way they did the Blair Witch Project.
Yep. I don't know.
It was in Maryland. It happened in Maryland. The movie comes on saying found footage. And like you didn't realize it was a movie until like months or something later when you saw the people at the award show. Like, what the hell?
I'm not even going to lie to you. I won't even lie to you. Like, I didn't get that experience that everybody else did because, like, I don't know what it was, but I saw through it. I was like, nah, this is a movie. Like, I knew it and I felt bad because I couldn't enjoy the Blair Witch Project because something inside me was telling me, like, nah, that's a movie, yo. Like, you're not getting over on me. And maybe I was just being cocky and assuming that, but I assumed right. Because I was like, I can't remember. I was a kid, man. We were teenagers, right? But the Blair Witch Project's a good one. Like my son likes that one. There's one. So there's this web series on YouTube that my some of the kids in the neighborhood showed me one time. It's called is it called Marble Hornets? Marble Hornets. I have to look it up for you guys.
Okay.
So it's found footage. And it tells a Slender Man. Basically, it's a Slender Man like experience storytelling, which is like the kids, it's a kids' new school, like urban legend. So they let them pour into it. That's cool. They got something that's theirs.
It's their Bloody Murray.
Yeah, bro. Let's not. And you got me thinking that because I think one time I was brave enough one time to do it and nothing happened. But no, but some of the episodes are like 30-second clips where it just shows you something, a teaser, and you're like, what just happened? And they're like, and then it's out of order, and it's just all this different found footage, and it like, but like watch it was, I hated it and I loved it, right? Because I watched everything with the kids in the order it was presented first, and I loved it. It was brilliant, but it also gave me like schizophrenia, right?
Oh wow.
Like the way if I was really into watching it, I just watched them all back to back in order they came out. So one moment you're here, then you're over here, and then it continues for a while. Then it jumps back here, and it's just like all over the place. Where like it creates in your mind like a indirect route of storytelling, and so it really puts you in that space where you're like, now you have like I got anxiety watching it, not in a good way, not like the fourth kind where I'm like getting that rush and I'm like oh, I'm so scared. Yes, right? No, it was more like like getting wound tighter and tighter, like
Yeah.
and then going back, but understanding why they did that because that's what they wanted to create. That's what Slender Man like creates for them. They wanted you to have that experience. That's I just didn't enjoy it, but it worked. So it was really good. But then going back and watching them in chronological order as someone like chopped them back together, it was just a different experience. It was scary, like the ring, kind of scary, like new and scary.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that you didn't get like the full original experience. Is what I'm saying. So yeah. But Marble Hornets, it's a fun one to go. Have you ever seen the allegedly worst movie ever made? Have you seen The Room?
No.
What's Charlie? What's the guy's name who did The Room? Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, okay.
So Tommy Wiseau is a super rich guy who is ambiguous nationality, ambiguous origins. Like nobody really knows anything about him because he's an old school immigrant with a lot of money. And so if you don't know who he is, you don't know what questions to ask. And so like a really mysterious guy in general, like just eccentric. And he always wanted to make a movie as a kid. And so when he decided he was going to make a movie because he had hundreds of millions, however much money he had, he's like, I'm going to make a movie. And he had no experience, but he wanted to make a movie. So he's doing acting classes and stuff. So he said, you know what? F this stuff. I'm going to make my own movie. And everybody laughed at him. And nobody told him anything, wouldn't help him. They just laughed at him. And they wouldn't help. And so like he has there's a whole backstory to it, which is really beautiful if you have this context when you watch the movie. But if you just cold watch the movie before you learn the background, cold watch the movie and experience what sheer will looks like. Because it is allegedly marketed, like people call it the worst movie in history. But this man made a movie out of sheer will, like worked his whole immigrant life to like make basically a bottomless pit of a bank account so he could make a movie. And he made one, and he wrote the script, and he starred in it, and he got people around him who would show up or believed in him, and he made a movie, and it was awful. And then when you learn his backstory and you watch, it's beautiful. And so experience the awful, and then watch the Disaster Artist. When people in Hollywood, after they shunned him and did him dirty, it made him do what he did, the movie The Room by Tommy Wiseau. When they found out his backstory, all of the best cast in Hollywood got together to tell his backstory called The Disaster Artist.
Oh, wow.
And so if you look up The Disaster Artist right now and look at the cast, these are people who like saw the movie, were horrified, then they learned his backstory and they felt like they had to tell his backstory. And so it's it's like crazy good actors. Let's see.
Oh wow, not even that old. 2017.
Yeah. No, it's a new thing. Yeah, so you got like James Franco, Dave Franco, Seth Rogen, Josh Hutcherson. So like there's a bunch of like significant people who were like felt strongly that you needed to before you keep roasting this movie, like learn about this guy. And like once I learned, and so my wife won't watch the movie because she's seen pieces and she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, no, this is like, come join me in this journey. And she's like, nope. But my son did. And then watching it, and like, I'm trying to tell her, like, I want people to have the experience of watching this disaster of like a sheer will. I want to make a movie. You're not going to stop me. And then enjoy the beauty of what you just watched by looking at the story. It's like it's a little mini journey, man. It's like a little mini retreat, and it's fun. But like, she won't go on it with me yet. She will, but I'm not trying to wear her out on that. I'm trying to wear her out on some other stuff. So, but yeah. So The Room, the worst movie ever, and then followed it up with a Disaster Artist. That's it's a weekend recommendation for you guys if you have nothing to do. There's no Preakness next weekend, I think, or following coming up.
Yeah, Preakness, yes, yeah.
So, but yeah,
the Preakness is
19th and 20th or something.
Yeah. Yep,
oh, also, if anyone listening, if you guys come back and watch, anybody who needs a job, specifically but not exclusively returning citizens, please contact me at bmorechap@gmail.com. I know the guy who's catering the Preakness. He's out of DC, Purple Tie Catering. They're feeding like 10,000 people. They are paying like dishwashers $25 an hour. Wow. So anybody who wants to work for a couple of days, work Preakness, make $25-$30 an hour. Servers, cooks, any catering minded work. If you want to manage a tent, all those things can be done. We can pay you $25-$30 an hour through Mr. Gaylord Fraser. I'll get you guys connected. And it's also understand it's an audition because these guys are out of DC and they go up and down the East Coast doing big events. So, if you get plugged in with them when they're doing stuff in Baltimore, you can be a go-to person for stuff. If you got wheels and you can travel, you can be a regular making that kind of money. So it's good money for it's good money. I mean,
yeah.
When I was a kid, we were working for minimum wage, like $7.50 an hour. Not bad, but now kids are making $16 an hour to make coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. So for me, 25-30 sounds great. For them, they're like, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, man. What else? Anything else? Any other movies coming out we need to tune in?
Nothing that I can think of right now. Anything that might be coming out that I'm excited about might not be till towards the end of the year.
How about John Wick? Did you watch that one?
Yes, the new one. Yeah, I like that one.
Okay.
I like that one. That was good. They're now talking about a fifth one.
Okay.
So
at least, like you said, they keep them rolling. It's not like it's not an afterthought.
That's if the movie come out within every couple of years, fine. But when they 10-15 years apart, I'm just kind of like, eh.
There's one I was trying to think of while you're talking about the John Wicks. I can't think of it right now. Yeah.
I have not watched. I need to watch it. The new Power Rangers movie that's on Netflix.
Yes, you need to watch it, bro.
I need to watch it.
It is so throwback. It's so throwback satisfying.
I need to watch. I have not watched it yet, and I feel bad.
I watched it with my 16-year-old, and he's like, "Dad, this is really good," and I'm like, "I know."
Yeah.
And again, not being an anime guy, but in that leaning towards that genre, like that's part of our childhood too, man. Yeah. It's definitely a classic, and it's like the two old guys.
Yep.
And then there's a scene where the teenagers take over, and so it's like Powerfest PowerFestBaltimore.org. Thank you guys. But no, they're like Power Rangers, and they teens. And my son's like, "Isn't there already a red one?" I'm like, "Nah, that's the teen one. Like they're introducing you guys to your Power Rangers." Yeah, let's go. Like, yeah, nice handoff. If you're a little bit older than us, you probably watched Ultraman. I don't know if you watched it, but that's too old for me.
I remember it.
I know about it, but I wouldn't. But they got some. They're always reinventing Ultraman too. It's another one. Oh yeah. All right, man. Well, I think I got some homework. Got to watch The Pope's Exorcist for sure.
Yeah, I definitely got to watch a few movies. I need to watch the Power Rangers because I haven't watched.
Yeah, definitely Power Rangers for sure. Like that's a go-to. That's a win. Yeah, and if there's anything like amazing that I watch, we'll talk about it next month. I have to try and write stuff down. But next month we'll be joined by our celebrity host, Monica Cooper.
All right.
She is a community advocate from the gutter all the way up to the NAACP. She's plugged in. She's putting in work. We love her. So thanks for tuning in. And she will be our guest next week and share with you her film opinions. And I don't know if she's a gamer. We'll find out. We can ask her.
Yeah.
So see you guys next month. Thanks for your time, Jerome. I will talk to you later.
All right. See you later.
See you guys.